Yes, people, quick daily recap. Daily recap. No trade taken today, but I'll break down the analysis. Coming to the day, I had a bearish bias because we were heavily dumping because of the geopolitical events over the weekend. So we're heavily dumping. I thought that we could see some bearish action. We had these low resistance lows here as a potential draw. At market open at 9, I saw that we had a gap down here. And we'd also swept a lot of this daily liquidity. We'd finally exited that range. So that paired with me seeing this gap here made me think could be bearish, but I wanted to see whether this gap would get held. On the 5-minute, this was all pre 10 o'clock, by the way. So we can see that this gap is being held, right? And then at 9:30, it gets used. So that was my condition. I wanted to see 9:30, is this gap going to get inverted or is it going to get used? If it's inverted, I'll be short. If it gets used, I'll be long. So then that gap gets used. And my second condition to confirm bullish is this gap here, this 1 hour bearish gap. If that gets inverted, then I'll definitely be bullish. So I waited until 10 a.m. that got inverted, and then I set my bias as bullish. Now, I ideally wanted to see a retrace within a fib level. And at the time, oh, it's already marked. Yeah, so I wanted to see a retrace down below the 0.5 here, which would have ideally gone below 0.5, entered this 15-minute gap, and also been below midnight opening price and allowed a really good trade, but we didn't get that. I saw potential for something here. So we had a gap over here, and if I mark out this range with the fib, we can see that majority of the time it's below 0.5. So we tap into that 0.5, we use this 5-minute gap, and I thought, okay, maybe we could enter. But with the 15-minute gap below, and that being a much larger potential draw, and also if I sit there and think, if we draw into that 15-minute gap and I get stopped out of this long, will I be really annoyed? Yeah, and that set my condition basically. So we tap into the 0.5 here, offered a potential long of a 1-minute inversion. That would have got stopped out. I didn't take that because I thought we might reach into that 15. We then tap back into it over here and we move upwards, but we move up with no 30-second inversion, no 1-minute inversion, sorry. I saw that Blake took this trade based off a 30-second inversion, but that is something I don't like doing there. Very low probability, especially in these kinds of choppy conditions. So a 1-minute inversion would have been much better for me. Here we actually get the ideal entry, which probably would have been a long from there. Target a 1 to 3, but that's outside of time frame. Overall, trade presented itself here if I took a 30-second inversion, but I don't like taking 30-second inversions, especially in these kinds of conditions. And we had this 15-minute gap here, which was what I wanted to see get hit, and it didn't get hit. So no trade. And that's it for the day.